I can predict your future, guys. Predict your future. The future is we're not using any floral foam today. Oh, what is this? This is the floral foam. So I'm going to show you another option. I get a lot of DM about the other alternative aside from the foam. Alright? But I'm not too quick to throw this yet. I'll show you what would be a good candidate for using a floral foam. So since it's summer months, it is warming up. I'm wearing my hood. So, but anyways, welcome everyone. My name is June without the E because we can't afford it. That's it. So, but anyways, we have a beautiful container. I'm going to try to recreate that wide arrangement that I did yesterday for those of you who missed it. I'm live again. Live. So, usually, sorry about that. So anyways, we usually, when do you do the floral foam? Floral foam are really useful when you are arranging, let's say you're doing a big piece and then unfortunately, let's say stems are short. Well, we're gonna have to make this short just to prove a point. So that's why you probably seen me, like when I do the foam, I usually have like a couple of inch over the rim. And so because you can definitely have a meat, let's say if you needed to have something, I don't want to cut this a little short. Well, just to prove a point, let me cut it short. So sometimes you'll need a foam when you have to poke it this way so that you can get your shape that way, right? You have that nice shape, and I like it to make it roundy-moundy, so I use the foam for that. You cannot do that if you don't have a foam in there with the height, because you have to poke it this way, and at the same time you got to keep it hydrating. And then another option for that is that, let's say you wanted this long right here, because the stems only came this short, right? So there's nothing you can do. But having a foam there, you can have it in place, although it's not ideal because it won't last. But these are great if you're doing an event, just to get the overall size and everything. So the foam comes in really handy for this. You won't get this if you're doing like what I'll be showing you, which is the chicken wire, just because this one you can actually like an extension of things. So those are the uses. That's why there are times that I use those, but during the summer months I tend to use a little bit more of the foam. So if I can do away with the foam, I will. And one option that you have here is chicken wire. Another option, if you want to go all natural, is you can actually do curly willow. So curly willow, if you're familiar with that, they have that nice curly willow. You cut it where you can bend it right here, so that will just anchor your flowers in place. But then let me show you the chicken wire since we are on that subject, right? Thank you. All right, so now chicken wire, and what I've seen out there online is that what they do with the chicken wire, let me show you what they do with the chicken wire. They catch chicken with it. So what they do with the chicken wire is they just stuff it like this, and they stuff it in there. And so, but the only thing about that, when it's all stuffed like this, it's fine. But because you have all of these things like this towards the end, that they're all just like, there's not a lot of space in that. Let me show you my hands here. So when you try to poke it, especially when you're finishing up, they get all tangled in there. So it's not more like, as far as like, if you're doing a nice shape, it won't be all accurate because there's no, like, they're all smushed like this. Definitely you're gonna have to find a place. So it's not as easy to finish up with this because you get tangles in there. But this is what I do. So instead of smashing it like this, right? So what I do is do it in a foam, in a dome shape like this, and you hold it up. And I like the dome part of it, which is like, because you can also do, let me see here. So you do that in a dome. And how's my English so far? Give me a thumbs up if you guys can comprehend. It might be a slightly different version than yours, but eventually you'll learn it. So, but anyways, you do these, but you gotta be careful when you have these ones right here. I'll show you. See those ends right there? When they're poking out? So you want to make sure that you tuck all of those in, because you know sometimes if you carry it here, sometimes they tend to get sharp the way you cut it. And I don't want you to poke your finger and then, you know, you can get cut with that. So you gotta be careful. Make sure you tuck everything in. So these are really, really good when they're like that. But you see what happened here, when you put them in a dome, there's a lot more space for you to put it. So it'll be more exactly when you're doing your arranging. So now, you just pop it in here and you do that, right? But then, look what happened. They still not holding up because, you know, I made it so loose. That's why they crumple it, so they won't do that. But this is what I do. There's always a but to these, right? So, what I like to do is grab another piece in the bottom of it. So you just do 2 layers of it. Really nice and easy. 2 layers will always do the trick. So this one is lower, like that. You see it's all deep in there, low. And then you do another, then you do your dome up on top, right here. Make sure you, I'm already getting pricked with these things. So make sure you pop that in there, so you put it in here. So now if you wanted your arrangement right about here, and you don't want it to move, you can leave it there. See that? It's magic. So the thing about this is more exactly, and then also at the same time, it's not so smooshed in and there's a lot of space in there. So it's a little bit more exactly when you're arranging things like this. And then if you want it right there, you let it go and it just stays there. How great is that, right? Oh, you're welcome. Sure. So now we are just gonna do these. So you can tape this. You can choose to tape it, but I won't tape it because, you know, I'll just stuff it in there so that it just anchors everything in place. So let me just make this a little bit wider so it just get a little bit more of a snug fit in there. There you go. But again, you know, I can't stress this enough that you need to make sure all the tips or the end of this is all tucked in, because, you know, you can poke your hand with that. So when you're taping this I won't tape, but if you choose to tape it, you can. So the worst thing that you can do to this is like tape it right here. And I've seen it online too. They do the middle part of it. That's the worst, because, you know, sometimes, again, when you're arranging it, you'll find that you'll need that middle part of it, that middle, not the finger, but the middle space. So that is a prime real estate. So you want to free up that space by doing this. Instead of just doing a cross on top, I'll do this one right here. So I'm not taping this, but I'm just taping it now for you guys. Ah, look at that. Super cool, man. So now when you have this, you have the prime real estate in the middle, like that. So this will not jump out. And see, you have a space right here in the middle, which is really, really important. So you want to free that up. You got a free willy, if you know what I mean. Not that kind of willy, but that willy. All right, so again, you're welcome. Hello. From Japan, ikaga desu ka? Genki desho? Thank you. Thank you. Domo arigatou gozaimasu. Konbanwa. That's all I know. Must be nighttime there now. Hello, hello. So now, this is what we'll do, is I'm going to do a nice arrangement. I hope you guys like it. I hope you guys stick around. So we have somebody from Japan, and please go ahead. We start out. Where's everybody from? I'm from San Francisco, California. And where are you guys from? So we start out with these. We start out with that, with water. Wah-wah. This is wah-wah. Fill it up. Boom, just before the rim. All right. And then we put these things right here. These are called Floral Preservative. Not sponsored, those bastards. But anyways, and these are Floral Preservative. What they do is they add the nutrients that your flower needs. And also at the same time, since I'll be using stock with this, these guys, they tend to make the water smell ooky after the second day. With these, I think there might be a bleach or something in there that would just slow it down so it doesn't, not as bad. Totally different from the alum that I use for my hydrangeas. So these are alum. They all look like the same illegal powder, but they're not. They do totally different things. And if you guys want to check this out, You can go to Floral Supply Syndicate here in San Francisco. If you're not anywhere close here, you're in luck. Because I have an Amazon Wish page that you guys can go to. I have it listed and the link is on top by my profile picture. So you check it out if you guys want to check it out. With the knives and everything there too. So I'm super stoked that I can send there's a place where I can send you guys. Sometimes I get excited. And let me see here. Hello, hello. All right, hello. We said hello. So we're going to start out with, well, what do you know? I'm starting out with the hydrangeas. So we're going to do green and white, which is my favorite. And if you guys are venturing this off, there's also an option that you can buy silk hydrangeas. Silk hydrangeas are great also for these, and saves you a little dose, especially when you're just starting out, and especially if hydrangeas are not in season. June, what powder are you dipping it in? Well, I'm dipping it in alum, just like that. Well, this is too much dipping. Well, you know, again, a lot of you already know this, but there's a lot more of you that don't. Just in case, these are alum powder, and you can buy these in your grocery aisle, spice section if you'd like, give it a shot, or the Amazon wish list. I have it on there. So, like hydrangeas, perfect example for what the alum is good for. So the alum, what they do is like the hydrangea. As soon as you cut it, there's a gooey stuff. There's that gooey fluid that rushes towards the end of it. And what they try to do is they try to clog up the pores so that they won't take in any air bubbles or bacteria for that matter. So what they do is there's a self-protective mechanism that they have, but the alum, what they do is that as soon as you dip it in alum like this, and then you pop it in here like that, like this, like that. So as soon as you pop it in there, what they do is that they break those gooey whatever stuff it is. They prevent them from forming. Therefore, they keep the pores open. But someone asked me is that when you cut it, you dip it in here, but then you put it in water right away. Didn't you just rinse it? That's a very good point. Wow, this is like Discovery Channel now. But what they do is as soon as they make contact, it just does its magic. That's what the alum told me. And it just works. So I can tell you it works. But then there are some of you that might be using, you notice that I use a lot of green. Not unless they request for white. Because white is just a variety that just doesn't have the shelf life or the longevity of a green hydrangeas. These guys right here, if you buy them fresh, and if you bought them fresh and you process them correctly, processing it correctly is smashing the tip with a hammer when you first get them in, and you know, provided that they're super fresh, right? And then I usually strip all the leaves that's going to be below water line. I strip those down, and then I just leave the ones on top, as you can see here, because what they do is they act like water pump. I might be like repeating myself here for most of you, but there's a lot of you that don't know this yet. So they act like water pump, and therefore they draw the moisture up to the flowers faster. And then when I'm ready to arrange it, unfortunately, you have no use for me anymore. I take those out because, you know, they just usually keep on taking the moisture from the flowers anyway. So we take those out when you're ready to arrange it. Now I'm cutting it with a knife on a slant, like I told you, which I can't do when we're just processing it. That's why I smash it with a hammer on the floor. And then we do the alum. I said we dip it. And then notice how long I cut the stems. So the stems are cut long for a purpose of, you want to make sure that it goes all the way down to the bottom, just in case you've gotten so busy watching the water level, especially the first day. The water level will usually, especially on a warm day, not just the first day, on a warm day, the water level will go down on these. So you want to make sure they're well hydrated. And you know, with the hydrangeas like this one, I need to recut it shorter, which is fine. I'd rather cut it short and to make the adjustment rather than extend it. So when you're extending it, it's a little bit tougher. I don't know how to do that yet, but if you do, let me know. All right, moving on. Okay, what's going on? So where's everybody from? I'm just gonna do it. So the purpose of these is that it just really hides your mechanic right off the bat, make it so much faster to clean, to do that. The worst thing that could happen is you waste, well, not the worst thing, but it takes a little bit. Wait, let me just see how exactly I wanted it. Thank God I did smash it in, right? Because I can put it where I really wanted it. So, wow, why is my thing is not? Can you ask me a question? Can you guys hear me? Anybody here? Say hello. So, but anyways, here we go. I forgot my train of thoughts. It already left my head. So, but anyways, I was talking about something. Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't make sense anyways. So anyways, I'm just cutting it. Make sure that you cut your stem long enough so that it will hydrate water. Now, when you have chicken wire in there, I didn't tape it. It's fine. It's a little bit harder for you to yank it out so that you can add the water in. So what you do is you just bring it under the faucet and just let the water overflow. That would just help refresh the water for you. Make sure you don't get it in any of the flowers, especially roses. You can get it on the hydrangeas. Hydrangeas will take that, but roses, they won't. And also, let's say you cut it, you did everything that I told you to do, and then you woke up the next morning, they're wilted, right? So it happens. Sometimes, I don't know what they, they have their own mind. So what you do is, again, you recut the thing later on, but what you can do, if it is not the point of no return, they shrivel up, they get, don't too quick, don't throw it away too quickly. So what you do first is you try to submerge the whole thing upside down in water, let them hydrate for depending, sometimes I leave them in there overnight, but sometimes, a few minutes, 30 minutes to an hour will do magic to this. And then, they'll perk up. And then once you feel that it's starting to perk up, you can recut the stem with a knife, again, or smash it again, dip it in alum, do the whole process, let it sit and see if that works. And if not, sometimes you can wrap this thing with a damp paper towel or paper, just newspaper, damp, and then you put it in, just have them all wrapped up in there and just keep them cool, and usually they perk up that way as well. So, but the white one, definitely, the white one usually don't last as long because it's just a variety. So now we're just going to do these. I just cut this really, really short. So I'm going to use this stock just to get my overall shape. And the best part of these is that, look at these. I just brought them from the flower market. We haven't hydrated it yet, meaning it's just sitting in the cart right now. I didn't even have a chance to put them in water yet. But the best part of not using a foam is good because it's going to be sitting in water. You have the powder, you have your alum, and now you are just saving so much time and doing good for the flowers because you are, you're already letting them hydrate. So in the beginning, you'll do a little shift, things will just have a little movement because they're still loose in there. Just because, also with the way I had the chicken wire. But eventually, you'll appreciate this because, it'll be a lot easier for you to arrange it because it's a little bit easier for you to find placement. Therefore, I don't know what comes next. Therefore, I think it might be right. Okay, so we got stock right here. So I'm just getting all the overall shape right here. I'm cutting it, dipping it. You notice that I just strip all the leaves because I don't need them anymore. So this one is a little bit too long. So you can always recut it. If you're using chicken wire, you also need to get all of these stuff like this. Right here on the side, you got to shave them off. Because when you shave it off, why am I not getting any, are you guys still there or am I not getting any questions? Wow, why is it not moving? You got so many questions and I haven't been reading it. Say hello to me, guys. Let me see, why is this not, oh, from España, you guys are talking to me already. Los Angeles, you guys are listening, but my phone is not working. I didn't see your comment, but anyways, here we go. So you pop it in there. So you have to shave it off because if you have all this, oh, now it's moving. Now I can see you guys. Sorry about that. So you guys are from contact. These two colors are so beautiful. Yeah, they are. Hello, hello. Kuya, JY, what's going on? Blooming. Okay. Hi from Brazil. Hello, Brazil. Now I'm up to date. The ticker is moving again. So we are just going to strip all of these down and then get your shape. Notice how weak the stem on these guys is, right? So in each bunch, there will be some that have a weaker stem, some that are really strong, that you can actually build a foundation of a house with these guys right here. You see how this one is bending? So what you do with the weak ones is you want to cut it shorter, and you can use those for the shorter ones. So, and then that's why, you know, when I'm doing the height, I always pick the ones that have a stronger stem. Number one, they have a thicker stem, meaning like they can draw more moisture to this, so they have a better chance of making it down the road to last. And number two, they have the strength to hold it upright, especially if you're trying to do these for the height. Some of these are a little bit dark, so I'm going to just strip some of these guys. I just actually need the tip on these. And then we're going to just pop it in here. So you got to like find your way in there. You see how exactly that is? It's pretty cool. It's kind of like radiating from the center point. That's you're doing. So anything I do here, guys, is not to impress you, but I really wanted to take it nice and easy so that you can really pick up everything. Hopefully, I'm explaining it good enough where you can try to recreate your own and get your basic done. And then from these one little arrangement, you'll expand to the beautiful, more elaborate, more like overhead, hanging and everything. But knowing the basic, this is a great foundation. Took me a while to learn it. I'm self-taught. I taught myself how to do these by trial and error. And so whatever I've learned through how many years, hopefully I'll be able to give it to you in 30 minutes. You're welcome. So now we're just going to do these. I want one there and I want one here. So these have a strong stem. You can cut it. I'm guesstimating where I needed it right about here. And so I'm cutting it here. So when I pop it in here, this, I know this is too long, so I'm going to cut it a little shorter. Like I said, this, and then this is perfect. But look, I need it up here, and I also needed it down there, which is really, really good. Hopefully someone will see these. Because, you know, there are some things like these are like, we do it every day, and it's so easy for us to overlook it, not to explain that, because it's something self-explanatory, so we think if you know it really well. But like, because like I said, you know, I started out from knowing nothing, so I question everything, and so I know which are the point that really will be a great pointers for you to learn stuff from, which is like little things like that. So all of these stems right here is actually down to the bottom right here. And then there's also another one that says like, make sure that you're not pushing the stems all the way down to the bottom. I explained this yesterday. I think it's a great thing. Because, you know, I just realized what it is. And when they cut the stem like this, definitely it prevents it from hydrating water. That's why they don't want you to push it all the way down to the bottom. Alright, and so if you cut your stem opposed to a straight to this cut, let's see, I'll show you. So there's two stem cut right here. So this is the one that you're not supposed to do in the bottom, but if you cut it on an angle like I do, you see that? You see a lot of these things right here is exposed, so it'll drink water that way. So you can push it to the bottom. I said push it to the bottom, and then you can choose to, now that the verdict is out, you can just choose to see which one is right for you. I'm not saying what I'm doing here is right, but what I'm doing here is what worked for me. And yeah, I'm not claiming I know everything, because I don't. I don't even know the name of that flowers that I got. They told me, but I think it's clematis. I'll be doing that to this one later. So this one now, I just realized I needed to cut it shorter. That's fine. Then you pop it in. You might notice that I probably sometimes forget to dip it in alum because I forget. But the hydrangeas I never do. I never forget, because, you know, it's just really like comes to me naturally. Like they will really perk up if you use alum with these guys. All right. So moving on. That's looking good so far. Let me back up the thing here. Let me back up my camera. Ah. How long have I been a florist? Well, wow, that's a good question. Well, I started out as a stripper, actually. The early part of my career, I was a stripper. And then I became a florist. Because my first job, I did nothing but they put me in a cold, dark room in the back in the flower shop, stripping roses all day. So that's my first job. It's like I did so many of these. And that was I was in my early teens. Now that I'm in my late teens, you want to know when I started, right? Sometime many moons ago. many moons ago. That's when I started. That's a tricky question. I like you. So, but anyways, I started out in the late 90s. I was a late bloomer before some of you were even born. Damn it. So, but anyways, here we go. We are just gonna, only if I can like boil this and make a soup out of this, right? So tempted. So, well, I'm just having fun here. Sorry, guys. And I hope you guys are too. So, that's insane. What kind of question is that? No, I'm kidding. So, anyways, here we go. So we gotta do it. Well, now I remember to dip it. You gotta dip it. So now the shape. I'm going for the shape now, guys. But always remember, you gotta make sure, like, starting from the center point, radiating out. That's all I'm doing. This one is going to a client. It's gonna go to a, where is this gonna go? It's gonna go somewhere in their home. But I just want to make sure that they can see it, just in case if they're meant to be seen all the way around, that they can see it all the way around. Because if you can just see it from the front, they might only pay me half. I said, hey, how come you only pay me half? Because we can only see it from one side. So I want to make sure they can see it from, I want to get paid full, you know what I mean? So, but anyways, here we go. I don't know what I'm talking about. So you're so talented. Ooh, wow. Thank you. I'll take that as a compliment. I love you back. So, but anyways, I'm just having fun. It's one of those things that I'm just so blessed, super blessed actually, to be able to find what I love to do, and I'm still doing it, and I'm still excited. And now that it's even better because I can share this with people. You know what I mean? That makes a whole lot of difference for me to be able to share it, and hopefully will be life-changing for someone that's still looking for what they wanted to do in life and loves flowers. Hey, hopefully this is something that's for you. And if not, hopefully this will be an inspiration for you to do and find what you love to do, right? For everyone, it's totally different. And a lot of question is like, how do I do these? How do I do that? Quick. Everybody wants to rush things. And, my father told me once that don't rush things. Instead of rushing things to do, try to work on your skill. Take your time, work on your skill. And when you're ready, people will know. And I'm still working on my skill. But, it's been with me ever since when he told me that. Because, before it's like, dang, I've been doing this for 3 months and nothing's happening. It's like, because, I guess that's nature. You wanted to do it right away and you want to see result right away. But no, instead of rushing things, I would take my time and just really hone in and really develop your skill. So right now, what I'm developing actually is how to be more effective in doing my video. You get like a minute or you get 30 seconds. I want to be more effective in trying to capture the premise of what I'm doing, and hopefully you get it from that. And I'm doing okay, but it's definitely a lot more to learn about that. But I'm enjoying it. That's the most important part, is that when you're doing it and you're enjoying it, because nobody can outwork you if you're enjoying what you're doing. I don't even know if I'm making sense, or I don't even know if you guys are listening. But anyways, these are stock. There we go. So we got these. Boom. Yeah, you'll get those troll. And also, I posted that one that, laughed at my work and stuff. And hopefully that post is for someone that needs it, that it's okay to get negative comment because you can't please everyone. As I already know that. And again, don't take it seriously. They're just probably in a bad point in their life for them to have so much negativity. And so don't take it seriously. It's not you, it's on them. Yeah. I mean, I'm doing whatever I'm doing here and I'm enjoying it. So if you don't like it, this is not for you. And I hope you find what's for you. That's all it is. But don't take it. Because, a lot of people, when someone says negative things about them, this is how I think when I was younger, is that I stop. And just because you're like, oh, they don't like what I'm doing. But then I came to a certain point, like in my life, where I just don't really care. And then I started thinking about, why are they feeling that way? So maybe they are in their bad, sometimes a bad time in their life that they have to be so negative about things. But we wish them well instead. And, just keep on doing what you're doing. Hone in on your skill, really develop it. Before you know it, you'll be an expert at something. Okay, so next we have stock. And then these are snapdragons. These are beautiful. So we gotta do these. And let me see that. Someone says they love my positive attitude. Well, thank you. Well, earlier on in life, I just thought, I've just been so lucky by having a great set of parents where they taught me how to be positive in life, because there's always bad things about everything. Don't get me wrong, I get depressed too sometimes, or I get, but for the most part, I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm so happy. No, I'm happy. You know what I mean? I'm just super blessed, actually. That's it. That's the word I'm looking for. So now we use a stripper. This is my first job before I became a florist. There we go. You see how sexy I do this? I need a background music. They start. Ever since I started, I used to have music in the background, but my live always get cut off and there's music in the background. So now it's just me. So now you just gotta keep on stripping it. These are the stripper. Again, I buy these. All my supplies are here at the flower market, San Francisco, but I realize not everybody have access to my flower market here, which I'm very, very happy and proud about. So, but go ahead, check it out on the Amazon Wish page, and I think they have an orange version of these. Really convenient, they come in different shape, but these are the best ones. So now, when you use this stalk right here, what you do is you nip the tip, nip and tuck. It helps the bottom flowers to open up much, much better, and it helps them last longer. So this is a new iPhone. You haven't seen this yet. 818. I don't know if I want to pick this up. It's a flip phone. Yes, I am advanced. So now you gotta do this, right? So you're just mimicking the shape. This has a slight blush tone to it, which is really nice. Look at this beautiful snapdragon. Can the stripper be used for the roses too? Ooh, wow. These are actually meant for the roses, yes. So these I'm just showing off. You don't really need this. You don't really need the stripper for these because you can even still use rug and there's no thorns. But yes, these are actually meant for roses because of the thorns. You can't strip it with your bare hands. Very good question. So now you just nip the tip, remember that. And it doesn't change the look so much, but sometimes I really like that tip. I can't have without the tip. But sometimes you gotta do it so that the rest of them bloom better. So now I am just gonna mimic it. We're gonna just make it more fuller. And sometimes what you can also do is you can get the size bigger, because these are lighter and they're lighter than the stock. And so what you can do is you can go higher with these guys. Again, I have the floral preservative on these, so they are actually happy with that. At this point, you don't really want to rush things in there yet. They're still a little loose in there, still a little loose. Well, now I remember to dip it. They're still a little loose in there, so boom. And you just got to do these. So you got to be careful because you know you can shift them around. They still move around there a little bit until you get a little some meat in there. So now you're just popping in here. You already have the shape down with these guys. So what I'm doing is just like trying to move it around. This thing is going to be nice, lush, and beautiful by just these combination. So when you're starting out, you want to make sure to get different kinds of combination, right? Number one. And you can, you know, less mixture the better, especially when you're starting out. You want to make sure, you see all the stems right here? It's kind of wicked and cool, but hard to use. So I'll save those and I'll tell you where I use those. So now I think I'm pretty much with all the height. I'm pretty set with that. Nip it. So these guys right here, you save those so that you have something in the bottom. Again, that's how you do the shape here. If I have, let's say here, see these? You can use that curvature for your advantage now. I didn't even strip it. This one is hairy. See, look at that. I almost break the stem. So now you can just like find this place right here. Nice and easy, nice and easy. So you can have that, so you just have your shape nice. So you turn it around here again. Keep on turning it around. Nothing wrong with that. And then you cut it. You dip it if you remember it. And then just pop it in here. Nip the tip. So all of those sometimes we don't even think about because you know something like we already do under a repetitive mode. But you see the motion. You see the shape coming together. Ah, Terry's here. Hey, Terry. Boom. How are you? And then we got that. And so we have these. Let me see. I'll just use this guy right here where I needed it. So I actually have another set of these out here, but I'll try to use that later on to just get my shape. So now we are moving on to get the meat in there. So I'm gonna do roses with these to just have the roses right here. So now this is when you do your stripping. I'll show you. I usually do these freehand, but I mean off just before I go live, but now I wanted to, hopefully this will be helpful. See how convenient to have a stripper. This variety is called Playa Blanca. I like to use this a lot. Number one, they're very hardy and they are very, very long lasting, and plus, you know, they open up beautifully. I just took them out of the package, that's why they're still tight, but they'll bloom to be really, really nice. So if you notice, again, a lot of you already know this, but there's a lot more of you that don't. So these are called guard petals, and usually those are meant to be taken out just when you're ready to arrange it, and so they reveal the pristine petals inside. So they use them as a protection. Oh, one of my favorites. Stanley, you're the sweetest. Thank you. So now, if you ever notice, like I told you, like when I'm processing these, I strip all the leaves, anything that will hit below water level. You take those out. Because you know the water gets to them first before it gets to to the flowers, and also most importantly, the bacteria forms much faster if you have some leaves underneath there. It just makes the water more bacteria prone. So by cleaning that, it helps. If you want this to open faster, you can also do the same thing. Always recut the stem though, and you can use warm water, lukewarm water, not boiling. Lukewarm water, they tend to help open up the pores, and they open up much faster. So I leave these leaves up on top, like you know the bottom when they're processing it. I leave this on top because again, you know the same thing. They act like water pump, help draw the moisture up to the flowers, and then when you're ready, you take those out. You're welcome. So now we're just gonna do this like that. So these are the great candidate. These roses are great candidate for flexing, and you've probably seen a lot of those. They're very hardy, but the only thing about these is that when you flex them, they somehow, you know, especially when they're lighter color, they will somehow show bruise. You know, they get bruised, but you will never get them to open this way, you know, on their own. I mean, they'll be more like a spool. I like it super tight in the middle, but then it looks like that. It almost looks like a gardenia, doesn't it? And then now you just pop it in here. Ooh, this will make good video. So now pop it in there, just drop it in, drop it while it's hot. So we're just gonna build it. I'm not gonna flex everything, but I just wanna show you that option that you have. Again, you have an option to add, have you seen those forever roses that I got? Those are so realistic. I mean, they're real, but they're preserved. And when they feel to the touch, I'm still finding out the price because a lot of you, because I already bought what they have, so I'm finding out how much will they be if I get them in bulk. A lot of you is asking about it. I said I'm not gonna open this, but I just opened it anyways. So you can just do these. Looks good. Cut them. I'm gonna use this for the height right here. Let's see here. So mind you, if you guys are just joining us, there's no floral foam in here. That's why it's a lot easier for me to poke it in and get some flower. I'll cut it long, shorter. We use chicken wire in lieu of the foam because it's summer months and flowers tend to be more happier during warm days, warm summer days when they're sitting in water. And then, you know, definitely they're hydrating really, really well. Another advantage of that is that as soon as you get them in from the market or got them in, you don't need to hydrate and process them first. Let them sit in water like you should if you're working with floral foam. Floral foam, let's say if there's a floral foam here, I'd probably wait about a couple of hours to let them sit in water, let them hydrate first. Make sure that they're well saturated with moisture in the stems before you put them in floral foam. Because, you know, definitely with floral foam, there's some particles that probably clog the pores, and you know, they don't hydrate as well as they were just sitting in water, of course, right? And I remember to dip it. So now what I'm doing is that I'm just kind of bringing it all the way around, just doing that, nice and easy. Again, we're not trying to break any speed record here, but I'm trying to really go toe to toe and just deep dive, trying to explain it to you, everything that I'm doing here, especially hopefully that this is a good, you know, you're getting some really good value from this post right here, because we don't want to rush it. I mean, I can do this quick, but what's the point, right? We're not going to get any award for that. So you also want to make sure that, you know, you want to finish up the bottom here when you're doing the heights. I know I usually do all the height first, but I have a lot of roses to use here, so. But this is really important. When you're sitting on it, let's say this is on a coffee table, this is where your eye go right here. This is your point of view. So you want to make sure you don't overlook that. That's why also you don't really want to stop by the rim. That's why, you know, when I have the floral foam, if you ever notice, I have it about a couple of inches, so that instead of, I can't do it on here because I got chicken wire on these, because I have a place to poke it this way. This one will just be poking it in air. But if you have floral foam, it'll be there and it'll get hydrated. So you get that shape. So since I can't use this, I have other type of flowers that have that nice flowing things I'll add to these so that you can still get that kind of beautiful flow. But not with roses, just because, you know, the stems are super straight and we can't really poke it up like about there. Otherwise you'll just be poking in air. But in this case, everything is looking up. So again, we're just gonna go slow with these, no speed record, and we just want to make sure that we're enjoying this. This is like therapy for me and you. I guess, right? Let me see here. Oh, wait a minute. I've reached 5 supporter. What did I support her? Well, thank you for the badge. Supporter, Aravelas, Martha. Oh, Martha again. Zarmeen. Hey. Heavenly Butterfly. Ooh. And Mylene Colette. Well, thank you for the love box. I got a reminder there. That's for the badge. It goes to Kalua's snack. I'm kidding. But just want to see. Thank you for the love. I super appreciate that, guys. So now we're just going to go around again. And there's a lot of water here. This will be really, really happy. And the roses, there's a lot. So normal speed on these is this. This is what I do when I'm doing the normal speed. Usually what I do is like strip all of these first. Right here. So it goes much, much faster. And let's just strip it. I'll just strip for you guys. See, the show gets better. Put more coins in the slot and I'll strip some more for you guys. That's how it works. I'm kidding. So now you just pop it in here. And then, you know, sometimes, you know, what would be the, how long would this last, right? Actually, if you get 5 to 7 days out of your flowers, it's already a gift. And usually, and then some of them, like, you know, these guys, they last up to 3 weeks. So, but anyways, you know, probably the goal on these is 5 to 7 days. And that's already, that's provided that you got them fresh. If you want it to last anything longer than that, I would just take a picture. You know what I mean? And then you'll have it forever fresh in your memory. So now we're just gonna do these here. Pop it in. That's too long. Cut it in again. Beautiful, beautiful. So I'm just doing the radiating part of it where it's radiating. So like I said, let me strip it. I'm gonna use. So let me just strip it. And then you got the guard petals there. I'm seeing it. And shoot. So good thing I don't really have a lot of rush order lately, but if I have rush order, it'll be a little bit easier. It'll be a lot harder for me to like, I got the driver getting all pissed up because, you know, they need to do the delivery. So that's the regular flower shop. You gotta rush it. You got your driver hovering around behind you, waiting for your piece to be finished so they can just pop it in the van. Especially before COVID, you know, where especially offices, like if you have a delivery corporate, like in the downtown area, it's just horrible because, you know, you have to go through security now. And then they look at your driver's license, even though they recognize your face. You do the, you know, service elevator, not the main elevator. And sometimes that get all tangled up because, you know, you have so many deliveries. So having a flower shop, it's really, part of it is like the delivery part of it is really tough as well. And that's why I have the chop and drop kind of thing where that's easy, quick for those, especially if you do a lot of commercial account or hotel work especially. Hotel is notorious for that because, you know, when you're in the hospitality business, you don't say no to anything. You say yes to everything. And that's one thing I've learned early on. One scenario would be like someone booking an expensive $10,000 a night room and somebody picked up a limo, picked them up in the airport, and then the husband realized that, oh, I wanted to surprise my wife with a beautiful bouquet of roses as soon as we walk in the room. And so they called the concierge, ordered that, you know, this is so and so, can we get roses in our room? We are in transit, somebody already picked up in the airport, so you only have, sometimes you don't have but, you know, less than an hour to react to it. So that's when, damn, that's when you need to shine. So you can't really do these, take time, you know. So there are some type of arrangement to do that. So, but anyways, those are the things and those are some of the scenarios that you guys will run across when you're running a flower shop. And not just being good, but being efficient. And then even though you have no time, you want to make sure you want something. You can't just like grab something and shove it in there. They'll know that. So that's when you develop the chop and drop. That's when you develop like what combination of flowers works together that you can do super fast. All of those stuff. So those, again, it comes in time. Those are something you'll develop, something that you'll experience, something that you'll get better at the more you do it. So this one right here, it just broke. So that means I can't get out right away. So now you just gotta do these. Just gotta pop it. So this one is not a total waste. So this is where it bent, right? Don't cut it right here and expect it to live. It won't live anymore. So what you do now is like you cut it kind of like a straw. Once it's all folded, it's not gonna do. So you cut it after the bend, and then now you can use this for the bottom part right here. So nothing goes to waste. So now you just gotta do it. Pop it in here. I'm not even thinking about, well, cut it. Not even thinking about the shape already because I already have it done. And sometimes, you know, I always look at it from straight from this point of view. But then sometimes you have to see this here. This is what I'm showing. This is it right here. So I always look at the side. When you're looking at the side right here too, you needed something like that because it's looking kind of flat here. So you have that. That's something that you won't see when you're head on. But then you'll see it when you're looking at it from the side here. So again, you know, these are things that I've learned over the years that I'm just trying to pass on, just in case I become famous and, no, I'm kidding, and not be able to do this anymore. So I want to give you everything I got right now. Boom. So gotta do these. Gotta do that. Next thing in agenda is to have some classes going for you, because it's really fun when I meet you guys in person. I really like that. I like the interaction. I like that energy when we're together live. And so that's next. Hopefully that we're all vaccinated and safe and sound, of course, you know. Part of the slow process here is just want to make sure it's safe, because I'm taking care of my 86-year-old mother. So I gotta be careful. Sometimes you might see me wearing my mask here because, you know, there's people behind the scene that you don't see that I work with. And so we have to do that. So we're just gonna do these, pop it in. So cut short, it's fine. I know some of these might be cut a little too long, so you adjust it. Again, that's fine. If you cut it too long, I'll just put it here. That's okay, because you can always adjust to make it shorter. All right? Not the end of the world, but just the beginning. There you go. Being positive again. So now we got just do these, and then this is when, remember the chicken wire that I did, this is when it kicks in, because it's so packed now that it's really harder for you to find a space, a placement, like to be exact, meaning like if I wanted this guy right about here, you can put it right about there, a little bit easier than if you would like smash it in. See that? It just like stays where you want it. But if you have the wire in there, sometimes it might not be possible, so you might be having it on a slight angle or whatnot. It'll still be there, but it's not exactly, so sometimes it takes a little bit more try to doing it, rather than just like one shot, pop it in. So that everything counts if you're in a rush to do it, especially if you have those last minute requests. Let me see here. Yoli, what's going on? Thank you, Yoli. What? Oh, I just heard my stripper drop. Oh, there we go. So what's next with these guys? So this is really, really cool. Now we are just going to do a little bit of the Helleborus. Again, for those of you, you can stop here if you need to. But then this one, I'll just move it along just to show you. So these are the ones that I told you about. Remember I told you the roses, I can't get them on an angle. So I like using Helleborus for that because they have a natural curve to it. And that's just really graceful. You can also use eucalyptus, but I heard and somehow eucalyptus killed the flowers faster. Any of you guys heard that? You know, there's some type of flower that you can mix in, like narcissus. Narcissus will kill everything. Because again, it has the sap that goes in there. So what I do with narcissus, if I really need to mix it with other flowers, as soon as I cut it, I put it in water, let him sit in water. Like say, I cut it to a size where I needed it here. I cut it, anticipate where I need to cut it that short, put him in water, let it sit there overnight. So whatever they come out, the fluid that kills the other thing, it will just dilute it down. So comes tomorrow, you just pop it in here. It just kind of like diluted the bleeding or stop bleeding, and then it won't affect the flowers as much. It's not as toxic or it's not as strong. So this one, you see the curve, it's a natural curve. Meaning it's not wilting curve, but it's a nice graceful curve. And that's the one you want to put down here. There's a difference between the dead curve and a more graceful kind of thing. And then you gotta let them used to this. So you have that in there. You repeat the same thing up on top for the above and just get it up here. Again, this is beautiful like that. You see that nice little fluid movement? So that's gonna get that arrangement together for you. Let me take some of these out so you can see it better. And then I'm gonna do a pink and white combination actually. Pink and white's really nice. Alright, what's going on here? Soon you tell all the type of flowers. Tell the type of flowers. Well, this one, I can tell you not everything I know. So this one have roses, I know that. We have stock. And we have beautiful snapdragons. Right here, that's the one that I nipped the tip. We have snapdragon. The one that I just added, these are called Haliboras. And these are from Holland, actually. And then I mentioned the stock. We have hydrangeas before that. This is the bottom. I based it with hydrangeas. So right now, the purpose of basing it, you're going to cover it anyways. What's the purpose? There is a purpose to it. Without the hydrangeas here, you'll see all the mechanics. Sometimes you might even see the wire picking out in there. And then for you to go back and try to cover it up will take you more time. And sometimes you won't do it. But then, you know, the quickest way to do that is just put the hydrangeas in. If you don't have hydrangeas, you can add greeneries or something first to base it with. You might have seen me do the lemon leaves, you know how I just, or ruscas. Those works really, really well for that. And pretty much it, not so much more. And then this one, I'll just do the nice fluid thing. And knowing that all of these flowers are actually sitting in water right now, because you know we use the chicken wire. So now you might not, probably don't see it here in the camera. Let me see it. You don't see it right now. It looks really nice and so lush. But if you look at it like in person, you will see that there's a hollow spot right here. So this is where this guy comes in. So you have the nice curvy ones, you have the more straight ones. So the straight one, I'm gonna use it to just beef up the middle. Because I didn't base it with a green, you know. I want it to be more lighter, lusher kind of look. And then the green would be like a more of a thing to just make it more beef up your arrangement. So, but you don't see it there in the camera, but it's really, what you can see there is my lower chest, actually. But this one right here, we're gonna fill it up. There we go. I got a lower chest that's really getting developed. So, here we go. I don't know, maybe I'm hungry, I don't know. I don't know, I don't really know what's going on here. All I know is I'm just poking along. So now you just pop it in here, nice. You see how beautiful and fluid that line is, that's just gorgeous. So now we have these right here, you can have some in there. Boom. So I have it. So I have 2 dozen of these beautiful Playa Blanca from Central America. Isn't it gorgeous? Beautiful. And let me see, white and green. Yes, those are the best ones. And let me see what we have here. That is really nice and full. So if you wanted to do a nice, version of these, well, I have more. So like I said, you just need to beef it up in the middle, because when you're looking at it right here, you can really see that the middle is kind of hollow. So this will just be a perfect way to beef it up in there. So right here, you just beef it up in the middle, kind of that. Since we have the chicken wire that's not smooshed in, it's a little bit easier, although it's getting harder. It's getting harder to find the spacing exactly, but still easier than if you would have smushed it in. All right, I think that's good. How did I do? How did I do, guys? How did I do? So we got these. There's always room for improvement. How do you know when you're done? Well, depending on the price point for me now, because I overvalue my arrangement. That's the best part, is you can overvalue your arrangement if you lower your overhead. Lesson number 1. If you lower your overhead, funny thing happens. You make more money. How do I do that? I work in my garage now and not in the shop. And so that helps with the overhead. And then now, whatever savings you do, you pass it on. This could go to a client that have thousands of flower lover friends, and so you're actually giving everything you own. So there's a chance that, hey, I love this guy's work and whatnot. How much did you pay for that? Only this much. So you got to be a little bit competitive that way, you know. And then there are times that you can even it out. You know, they'll give you a lot of repeat kind of thing, repeat kind of, you know, requests and stuff. And then, you know, that's how you grow, is actually try to like really lower the overhead, overvalue, surprise and delight, very nice, and people will remember you. Not so much on just the product, but as an overall service. You want to make sure you deliver it on time. You want to make sure you spray Crown and Glory before you send them out. They said, what was that? Crown and Glory. Didn't you know about these Crown and Glory? So what they do is they hold the moisture. This is not sponsored, guys. Not sponsored. Not yet. No. But this works because what they do is they seal it, especially lighter color. These are great for flowers that are out of water, like gardenias or boutonnieres or corsage, bridal bouquet. What they do is they seal it, and let's say it's warm outside. They seal it so that the moisture stays there. They don't evaporate as fast. And what they do is they coat it. Once they coat it, they slow down the turning brown process. So if you have a lighter color or if you have a bridal bouquet, these are great candidate. And you put them in a spray bottle here. I don't mix it. It's 100% Crown and Glory. It's pure. It has a better high that way anyways. But it just does the magic. Sometimes if you want to dilute it down, you can do 50-50%. And what you could do is like submerge the flowers into it. Like maybe, I don't know. But I never tried that because I don't, man, I'd rather just spray it, right? And then, but the only thing about this is if you have a cooler, let's say you have a cooler, when you spray it, you know it's moist outside. It's really wet right now. And if you put them in the cooler right away, they'll freeze burn the tip. Because they get so cold in there, they kind of, I guess there's glycerin on these pots, right? So you let them absorb it first. You let them dry before you put them in a cooler. So wait a few minutes before you rush into the cooler in there. So they actually do much better that way. I'm seeing this one. This one is not placing it. Oh, there we go. Ah, beautiful. See, we're just chit-chatting on a normal thing. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm doing this about an hour, but usually I can knock this out in about 15 minutes. Not to win any awards, but just because, you know, that's a normal speed that we need to do. Can I do wedding? I've done so many weddings, and the best part is most of those couples are still together. Yes. I'm banking on an anniversary. So that's what I call repeat clients, right? So, but anyways, yes. What else do we have here? Before I go, please, how to water change. How to water change this. This one, since I have the chicken wire, I would take a chance of changing the water on these. But what you do is you just bring it by your sink with a spout and just let the water overflow. That will refresh the water, as long as you don't get the water in the flowers, huh? So you gotta do it that way. Now, if I don't have chicken wire on these, right? Just straight out water, no floral foam. What I do is get a wire, tie it in a knot, just like this, just so that it stays together. Not too tight, but not too loose, so that when you yank it out, free up your hands, so you can rinse the container. It stays together, and then you just pop it back in. I do that a lot with, you know, clear glass containers and stuff like that. Because, you know, with the clear glass container, you can really see the water getting murky. Right now, the water is really murky on here, but because, you know, opaque container, but doesn't really show that. So, I just saw something here that I might be able to add. Let's see. I have this on the other one here. So these are a little too short, so there's nothing much I can do but just fill it up in the bottom of these. These are cut Phalaenopsis. Look at how beautiful this is. Just adds to it. This is one of those things where you can do, like, you can add this to add the value, but not necessarily have to charge your client, because you can still afford these, you know. So I would, especially if you're just starting out, just make sure you be, like, you know, give them the best, not to lose money, but just, you know, try to, like, give and take. Because, you know, when you're building up your business, you want to make sure to give them a good impression, right? Not to lose money every time, of course. Everybody needs to make money, especially now, yes. But I've had my share where, you know, I give them value every time by being more efficient in whatever overhead. Because, you know, my first beginning, if you haven't heard it yet, is that I have a store that my parents helped me open up when I was really, really young. And it has to shut down in 9 months because it lost money and not getting a client. Spend a lot of money making the store beautiful. Nobody showed up because I didn't know how to market it then. So the next try I have, next opportunity, I start out from zero, which is like really grateful because, you know, I want to like really, and so I started out in the back of my truck. Now that I'm really successful, I'm working in the front of my truck now. So just because, you know, just to be able to lower the overhead, be more competitive. And then remember I told you about the last minute hotel request? I'm in my truck. I'm parked at the flower market. When they call me, June, what do you have fresh today? Because, you know, they won't really call you, especially when you're just new. They usually have their go-to people. But then if they have 45 minutes, usually the chances are they won't do it for them because, you know, they're busy. So they look on to like next in line. And I was a fourth stringer, new guy, so they get desperate. So I get the call when they're super desperate that nobody can take their order. And I'm just sitting at the flower market. June, what do you have fresh? You name it, I got it. I'm right here in the parking lot at the flower market. So what I do is buy it, buy the flowers, did my chop and draw. And so just dump everything in, you know, just buy it because I'm already there. Get in my truck, drive to the flower market. Drive to the hotel. This time it's the Ritz-Carlton on the sidewalk parking lot. Do the arrangement there. Boom, get it there in like less than 45 minutes. And that's how I kept my edge. And so turning out beautiful work, not just beautiful, but also being efficient. You can't just be good, but you have to be really, you have to come through. And that's how you earn your, what do you earn? So when they figure out like this kid is really quick and he does beautiful work, lo and behold, it took me three months. This is not my goal, but I got the hotel account. And I've been doing it ever since until 2019 when COVID hits. And now I'm not going back because I want to move on and I want to travel. And I want to see you guys in person. So, but that's it. But not going in there to like get the hotel account. No. I just wanted to work on, because, you know, I just so much hurt when you're young, you open a store, close in 9 months, it's just so much hurt out there, right? There's so much things. So I said, you know, I don't want it. That's when I learned not to rush things, because that's what my dad said. And I said, finally believed him. So I looked at things differently. There's always a good thing, you know, in anything after that. So, which is really good and worked for me so far. And hopefully I'll be out here now preaching this so that I can inspire someone who is me 20 years ago. You know what I mean? Oh wow. What is the name of those baby orchids? The baby orchids looks like little baby butterfly. Look at that. Flying. So these are called Phalaenopsis Orchids. Again, we have one of the vendors here that works directly with a farm. So these are actually in a plant. Sometimes I buy them in a plant form. I cut it as I need it, because you can hold on to these after 2 weeks. They're a little bit more of the mature. That's why it's, you know, they sell them like maybe 50 cents cheaper than the regular ones. Not much less. But these are perfect when you're doing a beautiful arrangement. And it's a nice filler. And then also the best part is, like I said, you can buy these in a plant form. So you can hold on to these. You can buy them ahead of time if you're doing a wedding. And then all that. Can you repeat the story briefly? Well, it all started one evening. It was really Starry Night, if I remember. I was saying I was a stripper. No, the story was, I'm just like, part of it is like, try to concentrate on your skill, developing it. My phone was just ringing. I'm good for the whole information shared. Very grateful. Oh, I'm very happy that you are. I know you guys are. Thank you. But yes, what's the point of learning all this, being gifted? Well, I'm blessed. And what's the point of not being able to share? You know, best part of having knowledge is to be able to share it. And I think the more you share, the more blessings comes, not just for me, but everyone. And plus, why should it just be me, right? I want you guys to be successful too. I want you guys to be oh yeah, why should it be me, right? Everybody deserves. And hopefully what I've learned, what took me 25 years learning, I probably have it, and so that you'll be able to use it to better your lives, hopefully, or better your skill. And somehow the best way to repay me is to be able to share this with someone who's starting out again. I think that's the most beautiful things that people should do. Otherwise, what's the point, right? Anyways, in that note, I love you guys. Thank you again for the support. And again, for those who send me the, man, I appreciate the love. You guys are just amazing. I love the comments. I like the likes. And that's not for my ego, but it's mostly for like a gauge where I know what type of funding or what type of posts you guys enjoy and what you guys like. And so that gives me an idea of what to post. All right? You telling me. And then if you guys have anything, any requests, I hear you. I see it. But note that anything I do here is already sold, so I can't go out. But if someone's looking for a blue iris per se, so I know that there's a request for that, for me to show it. So when there's an opportunity, someone send in a request, designer's choice, I can throw that in. That's how it works. But until then, until we get some sponsorship and something, we can do those big elaborate wedding stuff if you want to learn that. It's mostly not the thing, but it's the foundation, what makes it work. Like if you have a big piece, what's better than, you know, if you have, like, you know, you can't just do a big piece and then you have to at some point get it to the venue, right? So you want to make sure to be more practical on how to transport that. Me being in San Francisco, we all have the steep hills to climb, and you learn how to pack things. You want to make sure that you get them there at one point. I had my share of things spilling and redoing things, nothing worse than that. Because, you know, it's the worst to like spill. Like this one, let's say this is a big piece, and you like, this one fell over. With the white color of flowers, you can't put it back the same way because it's going to get bruised. And, you know, it's just, and then plus the time. Not just the product, but your time. So you want to make sure you get it there. You want to make sure you do it right with the packing. So everything goes. Not just being able to put together something beautiful, but you need to make sure that you are efficient in trying to get it to the venue. So as we get those, you know, we're just starting out. Like I said, don't rush things. This is going to get better. You guys are going to be surprised. Watch. It's going to be good. We're going to do all those big things that you guys wanted to know. Just stick with me. I'll give you everything. As long as I'm here and able, you got it. No, nothing will be held back because I want you guys to be successful, like I said. It makes me happy. And can you show us the best way to packing them? Wow. That's a good question. I like it. So right here, this is the best way to pack it. So when you're doing something like this, it's easier to get them in a box. You know, the worst thing that you can do is that get those boxes, you cut it and you pop it in. So I've seen people, because you know at some point when they get wet, it's a big mess. Sometimes they topple over with the boxes when they get wet, because you know when you hit the bump, all of this water, especially here, it's you can easily spill the water on these because it's just chicken wire. But this is what I do. I had so you can buy these at Home Depot. You can buy these at let's see here. You can buy these at boxes. You notice the bottled water here. So that offsets the height, the weight. So when you pop this in here on the side, notice I have the wire here. So you secure it with a wire right here. So you pop it in here. I cut this in half. So once you have this here, boom, it's all secured. But then you have to have the wire, because when you have a steep hill, that will ship around. Especially these two bottled water, you can't just put the bottled water in there and expect them to stay there, especially on a steep hill. So you want to make sure this bottled water, even though you're here, will stay on there. And so it counters the weight. And also what happens here is that if we use a really clear container on these, I just made the arrangement, the water is going to be really murky right now. So I don't change it, but we do the wire like I told you, depending on the setup that you have. This one I can do the chicken wire. You know, of course, you can't do chicken wire if you're doing clear glass. It just doesn't work that way. But if it is a clear glass container, what we do is we have the water. It's going to be murky when we transport it. And then I train all my driver, because, you know, I tied it really nice that they can just yank it out and then put it in another set of container. And then you use this bottle, this water, to fill it the new fresh whatever. So by the time you present it, it's going to be spick and span, super nice. But then they did all their purpose. So that's one way to pack it. Now, if you're doing a tall piece, the same thing, like this one right here. Nice and easy. So now you have a tall piece like this, right? So what I like to do with a tall piece is that I try to, here, get another crate like this, you know, that not cut, you put it the same concept, and then on the other side, sometimes, you know, if it is too much of a weight, you compensate it with a bucket of water in there on the side. And then on this one, if we have clear water in there, we usually put saran wrap on top. Right here, you see the plastic. So it just preserves it, so whatever you do. And so when I do big wetting stuff, I buy these, let's say, this is not set up yet, but let me show you. I think I have this. So let's say this is your arrangement, right? So you just pop it in here. This is your setup. So it just sits on top like this. It has the weight. And so in this case, let's say you have beautiful flowers going on here, but it's not attached to the thing, because it's a nightmare to set this up delivery. So you grab these guys, you let it sit on the floor. It's so super secure, and you have these. Or sometimes if you just want water in there, you know, you can just fill it up in the venue. You don't have to fill it up there now. So you can keep these, you know, if you're doing like 35 of these, we do like 35, 40 of these all throughout the ballroom. And so what I do is like this kind of setup, so that it'll be a little bit more easier to do, and then you just pop it in there when you're ready for the show. Only thing that you need to remember is to make sure you don't get cute and use something really super thin, because you know, once you fill it up with flowers right here, it's going to get top heavy. And so you want to make sure when you have that, that it's going to hold the weight. So if someone bumps the table, it's not going to be easily wobble. So these are actually secure. You want to make sure you have a lot of footage here. You want to make sure it's a heavy, sad container so that it can handle the weight. And then when you're doing the arrangement, you always got to make sure that the balance, you know, you balance it out. You can't just be one-sided heavy. That will still fall. So there's going to be balance and everything. Again, when you're packing it, it's a lot easier when you can take this out and transport it by itself. And then the saran wrap, there's dual purpose to these. Because, you know, when you're arranging these somehow, the water's going to get dirty. Because, you know, on this setup, what I like to do is put some of those LED submergible lights. Sometimes you can submerge some pebbles to get some colors in there. With lights, it's just beautiful, illuminated beautifully. You can also put orchids, but everybody's already doing that. I just want to keep it nice and clean, right? For the make sure it's different. You don't want to overdo things. So I'm just putting more show on top rather than just like doing this. I just want these maybe lit really nice, and then you have all the things there. So I think it's really, really elegant, not overdone. And the saran wrap purpose is that it also gives it a little traction here so it doesn't slide. If you guys are asking what these are Lomi plastic plate. Again, these are in the Floral Supply plastic plates. These are tossable. What you can do is you could like, this one obviously you need to use, you can't use chicken wire with these. You have to use the Floral Foam. And so what I do with the Floral Foam setup with these is that when I set this up here, I have like maybe 2 bricks side by side to get a lot of meat. And then what I do is to wrap it with saran wrap. Because you know there's not a lot of water, or there's not going to be a lot of water in there. So by using the saran wrap, if you do the arrangement there, it will hold it in place. It won't fall apart on you. And the most important part is that it holds the moisture in. So I think that's, you're welcome. Very genius. Again, I learned this on my own. Because you know, when we start doing these, I mean, we have those candelabras and everything. I have people holding it, and then we have a new driver turn, you know, on a steep incline, red light, he full stop. And then the guy didn't know, like it was automatic, but he didn't know, like he just let go of the brakes and then step on the gas to compensate for the backing up. And everything just fell over. And I said, you know, after that, no more. So it has to something like that happen first. And then you learn things like this. So again, something positive will always come out of something negative. Wow. Am I just positive or am I just hungry? So, but hopefully that answered your question. Was it Colette? Give me a thumbs up. You guys like that one? Yes, Colette. See, my head's still there. Thank you. Trinity, what's going on? All right, well, again, what's again? Again and again. I don't know if I want to go on. But anyways, do you guys want me to post this or what do we do? If there's any value to this, it's got to be the packing. Nothing in these, but the packing is really important. You need to get it there in one piece. You can't have it there in one pieces. Here's your flowers, folks. Alright guys, well thank you again. I appreciate the love. I might come on again later. Deb, you want to post? Alright, I'll post it. Well, thank you. I think I have a lot of value in this one. I wasn't going to, but I think there's more value to this because of the packing. Alright guys, well thank you. Colette, thank you for that question. And you guys take care. Again, don't rush things. It will happen when it's time, but just work on your skill. I'm still doing that right now. I'm still trying to develop my skill. You know what I mean? But I have a little nice base and you just build from that. That's how it works. All right? Kindness always wins. Always, always. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.